Hi, you guys. Welcome back. My name is Carrie Penny. I am the Happy Crafty Homemaker, and welcome to Show and Tell number 282, I believe. So it has been a little while since we've had one of these. Like I said, with doing Project Christmas Blanket, I feel like I'm not making enough things to warrant having a weekly checkpoint with you guys with the show and tell. So at least until Project Christmas Blanket is done, I think we will just do this every other week check-in with projects, but I have tons of other things to talk to you guys about. After I film this, when I get back from my doctor's appointment, running errands and everything, I have another tutorial I want to film. I also have a couple crafty chat ideas. So we'll still have content. It's just, we won't be necessarily doing project shares just because, to be honest, it's kind of boring going, I got an extra row on a blanket. Life check-in, everything's okay. We're in a period where, once again, we're just going to have tons and tons and tons of doctor's appointments. There's some uncertainty as to what these doctor's appointments are all going to lead to right now. Later on in the video, I have a couple things health related I will probably chat with you guys about. But yeah, so I just realized my camera's kind of kitty wampus a little bit there. Maybe that helped. Not really, but okay. Well, I'll just stand like this. Cats are cute. I should have some pet tax at the end of the video. Other than that, I suppose we probably ought to get cracking on with what's in my magical mystery basket of goodness this week, because it is very full. Like, very genuinely full. And there's lots of things to talk about. So first off, let's talk about WIPs. All right. So WIPs, we have a lot to talk about. We have a lot to go over here. I will probably spend a lot more time talking than is probably 100% necessary. So first off, we have the granny square for blanket 9 out of 10. So now there's just one left to be started. So this one is for my oldest stepson. I based his colors kind of loosely on the idea of the Ravenclaw colors from the novels. So that is kind of what we're going for. I wanted to play with the bronze and the blue, but I didn't want something that was like strictly fandom either. And having already done one black blanket and knowing I'm going to have another black blanket to do, I really didn't want to do another black blanket. So that is what my oldest stepson will be getting. This will be joined again in the bronze here. So these 3 colors are Knit Picks Brava. If you would like to order some, I do have an affiliate link in the description box down below. No pressure, just if you want it. It's a 100% acrylic yarn. And then this center is Caron 1 pound. So this will be joined in the 1 pound. I'd originally purchased the bronze color to join granny squares for the donation blankets, but it's too orangey. It's too bronzy for that. So it's much better suited to this blanket, which ended up being perfect because I was kind of torn like what colors I wanted to do for my eldest stepson. So that's what we ended up with. So we have two shades of blue, 2 shades of brown that we're working with. And I just finished this morning, so I haven't woven in any ends. This is my first block. I now also have like 15 center squares. I need 42, I think, based on the granny square that I did earlier, the black and green one. That was 6 by 7. These measure about the same size as those, 9 inches before I do the border, so 10 inches total. So 6 by 7 seem to be about the right size for the other granny square. So we're going to start with 42 and work from there. Next, I realized as I was putting this in my basket, I started a row last night and probably should have stopped to either tink back or finish the row I'm on. But to be honest, I'm filming this at 7 a.m. so I can get filming done before I leave, face-to-face filming. Like, we're looking at each other, we're smiling, we're looking our best. So I didn't really want to take the time to do that. But this is the Prairie Shawl. It is a free pattern from Premier. I will leave all patterns linked in the description box down below. There is a central point down here. I didn't bring the pattern up, but click the link and you'll see what I'm talking about. So this is what I'm working on for October's Make Along for the year of the Make Alongs 2025. This month's theme is Deep Stash. So this is I Love You or Alpaca Love. I think this is the Alpaca Love. Debbie Stoller, Stitch Nation, Red Heart collaboration. I have this peacock color, and then I also have an eggplant color. So I'm doing the central part of the shawl in the teal, and then I will do the bottom lace edge in the eggplant color. But this is a very simple repeat. You're working in stockinette increasing, and then every 16 rows you're adding in this little eyelet row. So I'm on the second repeat. After there's the setup, the first pass, and now I'm on the second pass through what we're repeating. Yeah, enjoying this so far. So far, so good. I'm using the needles recommended for this pattern. It was originally written for the rodeo yarn from Premier. So if you got some of that, so far I can tell you I'm enjoying the pattern. We'll see how I like it when I get to the border of it though. And I think that yarn's been in my stash since before my oldest grandchild was born. So yeah, that's a thing. We're going to hold this project and we're going to hold this project. And we're going to talk about these. So if you guys have not been checking in on the channel and just waiting for show and tell videos, you might not have seen where I did an entire series of hexagons, the solid hexagons that I did for the Nickelodeon blanket. For the sample, the original sample, I joined it in the Grandmother's Flower Garden motif. So these are flower motifs that will then go into a larger project. Then in order to do the half hexagon tutorial, I had to use some extra granny squares. So I added those to this temporarily and then took them off and then turned these into another motif. So these are all using Premier Basics, I believe. Size eye hook, worsted weight scraps. These are for round grannies. So if you want to check out the series of how I put together the Nickelodeon Hexi blanket, there is one tutorial for the solid hexagon, one tutorial for joining, and one tutorial for the half hexagon. I will be uploading everything into one big compilation video at some point, but I'm not sure when I'm going to do that because it's going to take an entire day of an upload for me. Just because I like to maintain my Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday upload schedule because YouTube doesn't like it when I do anything unusual. I get way fewer views all of a sudden if I do anything like take a day off. And at this point, to be honest, my view count is so bad, I can't afford that. So Zivia. Next up, we have some FOs to discuss. All right, so finished objects. I'm so excited. You'll have no idea how excited I am. So we will also have to insert pictures and all that good stuff for these because we have 2 more finished blankets. So we are now up to 5 out of 10 done. 4 out of 10 started, 1 left to start. So I have been a busy girl for the last 2 weeks. So this is the Dragonfly Mile a Minute. And like I said, I will take a picture and put it up here on screen, or I do have a picture. It's probably not great. I have not blocked out the edging on this yet. So forgive where the reverse single crochet is curling up a little bit, but that is how this looks finished. I will also include this at the end of the video as well, so you have a little bit more time to look at it. I used Premier Hirschner's puff pastry in macaron and Karen cakes in rainbow sherbet, and also like sugar cookie for the joining color. I added all the colors from the puff pastry and the Karen cake, and I still needed one more panel. So I did use this. Now I know on camera it's reading like beige. It is actually an orange. In person, it reads almost flesh tone, unfortunately, but part of that is where it's joined with the pink, so that the pink pulls all the pink out of this. But this is like Canyon Sunset or something in Lion Brand Woolies. I wanted to maintain the 80-20 thing, or at least a 75-25 blend. So love how this turned out. Wish I could have used a G hook for this instead of an H. So I did use the 5mm, which is what the yarn called for, but I still feel like, especially under the weight of this blanket, it feels a little loosey-goosey still. It's fine. I did do a firmer border by doing the reverse single crochet. So what I did is I did join as you go method here. So as I was bordering the piece, I was coming back down and just automatically joining. Then I came around and I used half double crochets for all that. I did a second row of half double crochets, and then I finished off doing a row of reverse single crochet just to soften that edge and give it just a little bit more stability. This, for some reason, feels super loosey-goosey. I don't know why it feels so loose, but it does. I think part of it is the lace pattern, but part of it is just, it feels loose. But it is so much fun. I love how the color play ended up. Even though that one color does look kind of beigey, I think it kind of works since the opposite color is kind of like mustard. So you do have something kind of vaguely neutral-esque going on here. And then tone-wise, it goes perfect with the lighter colors that were all part of this. So very happy that we have the Dragonfly Mile a Minute done. Like I said, I used a size H hook for this. Poor Bones keeps getting knocked off the shelf. Poor Tang. Pattern is in the description box down below for that. I think that's everything on that one. I told you the yarn. I told you the hook. So using the same hook, the 5mm size H crochet hook, I have now also finished the Nickelodeon Hexie blanket finally. And that's one of the reasons why I had to go ahead and start the other Granny Square project, because this has been my walking project and now I'm out of walking projects. So unless I go back to working on my Christmas socks, which I did get like a row and a half on, I just didn't feel like bringing those up because I figured we'd do more talking about media and the blankets. So again, I will put a picture of this up on screen laid out, as well as I will insert the exact same picture at the end of the video along with the pet tags, just so you can get a better look at this as a whole. So these are using Hirschner's worsted in Sea Spray, Blaze, Gunmetal. I've got a bowl of the green. Let's check it. The green is Lime. You'd figure this is the second blanket I've made using it. I should be able to remember that by now, but my brain is just like, no, you shall not retain this information today. So this and the dragonfly blanket weigh almost exactly the same thing. They were both like between 17 and 1800 grams. I think they're like 10 grams off from each other. So even though they look size-wise completely different, they are about the same weight. I actually feel the density of the blanket feels different because like when I hold the Worshner 8 blanket, it just doesn't feel as heavy as that one, but they do weigh about the same. So I came around the blanket and just did a half double crochet, no, single crochet, border, 2 rows around the whole blanket. So, you know, obviously across the straight edge, it was just straight single crochet. Then in the corner, I actually did 4 double crochets, no chains, just 4 double crochets in the corner. Because when I came down the short side of the blanket, I was going to have to account for the rib or the ripple. And so I, in the original, skipped these 2. And the second one, I skipped the 2 center single crochets just to maintain the ripple. And I wanted to have a nice curve to my points here. So starting with this point, you know, we're maintaining the ripple. So I did 4 in the chain 2 space, and then the 2 center single crochets on the second pass. I did 2 double crochets in each of those just to maintain the 2 increases for the 2 decreases. I know. But I'm so glad. And I love how both of these look. I love how the colors in these work. It's so funny to me because I don't normally put together color very well, but for some reason this year, like I'm just nailing it when it comes to pulling together these random bits. And I've had in some cases, like with the puff pastry and the rainbow sugar, I've had on hand the perfect yarn to do some of the stuff with, which is also kind of phenomenal. Yeah, so we now have 5 out of 10 Project Christmas blankets done. We have 4 underway. 1 is 50% done. I frogged 1. Well, I haven't frogged it yet, but I've restarted it. Instead of doing that not quite linked single crochet and just doing color block thing, I'm going to do a corner to corner blanket. It'll be a sit down blanket, but I'm just going to do a straight corner to corner with that one, and we'll just roll with it because I don't want to sit there and do singles. And I like corner to corner. So we're just going to turn it into a corner to corner. Let's move on to media, I guess. I had plenty of time to sit and watch movies. I did finish Wednesday in the last 2 weeks. The first season was so good. There are certain things I just love about it. I love the parents' interactions with the children. Morticia and Gomez with their children is just so much fun. They still have that same like classic love for their family that we expect to have from Morticia and Gomez. I wish Wednesday was a little bit more human. They've made her so cut off that she's not dry or witty or sarcastic. She comes off as being fully disconnected. And that's kind of an unfortunate thing because it does make when she's concerned with somebody seem weird because she doesn't seem to care about anything. So there are certain things like I wish they would tweak certain things to increase the depth just a little bit and kind of bring this in more towards what we think of as the Addams family and the characters that are so iconic. Because they're kooky, they're weird, they're off, they're unusual. But one thing about the Addams family is they deeply love each other and they're very passionate in their own way. And even Wednesday, while being corpse-like in so many ways, she loves her family. She's devoted to being an Addams, and that's an important part of who she is. And unfortunately, in Wednesday, we're not getting any of that passion and love out of her. She is just kind of cold, completely cold and cut off, which is very unfortunate. I did love Joanna Lumley. She's one of those just yes people. When I see her in things, it's like, oh, I knew it was going to be good. I knew it was going to be good. She showed up. Like I said, Steve Buscemi in that wig just kills me. It is hilarious. But overall, I mean, I'll give it a B. It was a fun watch. It was entertaining. I had a lot of fun with it. So I can't really complain too much. I did finish Head Full of Ghost. So this is my second Paul Tremblay book. The first one that I read was Horror Movie. You can definitely, in how the movie resolved, tell these were written by the same author. I'm going to give it, I think this is my favorite of the two by far. It's less off-putting. This would translate really, really well into a screenplay. As far as it being a novel, though, while it's well written, please don't take any of this as a criticism to the writing or the rest of the story, the depth of the story or anything. The veneer of the story is very 2012 to 2015. It's just in this, it's locked into this very specific thing, and it's because of details that he added in. So as far as the story goes, as far as the characters are, things like that, I think this is actually a really good book. I think it would be better visually than read. Listening to it auditorily, like I listened to the audiobook. This was my walking book while I was working on the hexagon blanket. That worked out really well because I wasn't spending the time reading what was going on. This is definitely a show me story, and I hope somebody picks this up. I know that Grady Hendrix has now had a couple things that are being picked up either for TV or movie. So I would like to see Paul Tremblay get this picked up for an adaptation, a movie adaptation, because this would read much better as a movie than a novel. So for that reason alone, I'm giving this like a C plus B minus. Between the time era thing where this is just not going to, this isn't going to feel even normative in the I'm looking back to a period of time feeling. It's very boxed into a specific time, and that's going to feel very uncomfortably dated very quickly. Kind of like how I was talking about going back and reading the Case Scarpetta stuff. The technology is so close and so far away at the same time. It's very awkward and feels very clunky technologically reading those. While I love Patricia Cornwell and I love especially the first like 10 books of the Case Scarpetta series, going back and rereading from the first book, very clunky feeling, very not natural feeling, because the technology is so close to where we are now, but we are light years ahead of it at the same time. So Head Full of Ghost, it's worth listening to. If they turn this into a movie, watch it. Hands down, watch it. This is definitely better than Horror Movie as far as like feeling a continuous story and everything else, and giving you this, I don't know quite what's going on thing. But if you've read Horror Movie or any of his other stuff, I'm starting to suspect you will expect the ending of this book too at the same time. So, like, if that makes sense. I liked it. I think this is the better of the two novels I've read, though. We did watch 2 movies. One, I'm going to say hands down you need to watch, and that's Oddity. Woman's twin sister is murdered in her home. She is a psychic, the living sister, and there's a golem. I love golem stories. I think they're highly underutilized in horror, and I love a good golem story. I mean, even in the silly things like the golem story for the episode of The X-Files. Once again, fantastic. Love that episode. I think they're highly underutilized devices. So Oddity, I highly recommend. It's a slow burn. It's satisfying. At the end, it's just satisfying how you come out of that feeling. It is good. It's slow. It's simple. There's nothing. Oh my God. You know, there are jump scares, but there are things that this is how they would unfold. It's not something, you know, jumping out at you just to scare you. It's unnerving because it is so quiet and so simple. It's more of a everything is just outside of your vision. So it's in that classic Jacques Tourneur kind of style where not everything is being shown to you 24/7 in the movie. It's an Irish movie. It's beautiful and simple and clean. It is so good. Like, it is so good. It is one of the few horror movies that have come out in the last couple of years where I'm just like, this is good. It's not beefy, but it's you can really sit down and enjoy this movie. And once again, like I said, highly underutilized thing for horror is golems, and there's so many different mythologies you could pull from. Chef's kiss. Highly recommend Oddity, like 100%. So we also watched Ugly Stepsister. Now, this is not a movie for everyone. This is along the lines, it's a body horror. It's not as something like Hostel. As a woman who has felt intense pressure to look a certain way and be a certain way for my entire life and never meeting those expectations, I greatly empathize and understand the pressure of The Ugly Stepsister. So this is a retelling of Cinderella. It is subtitled. This is a Norwegian film, I believe. It's uncomfortable. Everything about this movie is exceptionally uncomfortable. It's gruesome. It's shocking. I don't want to say it's up until the very end, it's not even actually gross, but it's not. It's unsettling. There is a lot of showing that you don't really want to see. So if you are not into, like I said, it's not like Hostel where it's just completely gratuitous, but it's really coming up to that line of I didn't need to see it. It is darkly beautiful in the cinematography. The costumes are fantastic, everything like that. Cinderella is not a saint. The poor Elvira. I do feel incredibly bad for her. Like I said, societal expectations for women can be very intense. And when you don't have any personality of your own, really, you can feel invisible because you don't meet anyone's needs or expectations. And she also did it to herself to a certain degree, being single visioned. So I enjoyed it in especially a commentary way. I really enjoyed it. Um, which is something I really haven't seen a whole lot of people delving into. I think they're more shocked by the body horror aspect of it. They're more taken in with all of that and it being a retelling of Cinderella than really the commentaries that are lying in the entirety of the story. You have all sorts of different things that are social commentary things that come up over the course of the movie. So it is good. Just it's not that visceral icky, but at the same time, it is very uncomfortable to watch certain parts of this movie. So not for everyone. I'm going to give it a B, a good solid B rating overall. It's not a perfect movie. The cinematography is gorgeous though. To be fair, technicals on this movie are stunning. If dubbing bothers you, there's not a ton of conversation. So it's not like you have to like read really fast and keep up with things. I did not find a dubbed version, just the subtitled version, but it was easy to crochet and watch this movie. If that tells you anything. Paranormal, I think, is the only thing that I've recommended that's subtitled. And that one, I couldn't do anything else but watch the show, which was good because the show was really good. So this was something I was able to crochet and watch the movie. The dialogue is very limited. It is a lot of show. It is not a lot of talk. So watch at your own risk. But it is a good movie. So if you're seeing this recommended, know what you're getting into though. It is not vulgarly so, but it is a bit gratuitous in what you're going to see. So anyway, that is all I have for you guys for this week, for the next 2 weeks. Let's see how much I can get done on the rest of these blankets. I love you guys. I hope you're having a wonderful, fantastic day. Come back and spend some time with me. Like I said, we're going to have tutorials and crafty chats and everything else coming up. So I love you guys. I look forward to seeing you real soon. Bye, guys.